We begin with two breaking news alerts this morning. The first involves that missing 2-year-old boy who police say was inside a car when it was stolen. JSO first alerted us about 30 minutes ago. This happened off South Old Kings Road, not far from Wolfson High School. Channel 4's Elizabeth Campbell just arrived at the scene.
We got an alert within the past 45 minutes that there was a possible abduction, missing child, and police are searching for this child. Now, what we are told is that they were working an auto theft at the area of 8075 Old Kings Road. This is where we are being held right now, and they say that the child was in the car at the time, and they located the car but have not been able to locate that child. At 2:22 a.m. this morning, JSO received a called in from the mother's boyfriend that a child was missing. His vehicle was also stolen, but it did get called in as an abduction. Police were on scene within a minute and a half. We were in the area already. And within 10 minutes, we were able to locate that vehicle. However, the child that was in the vehicle when the vehicle was stolen was not in the vehicle. He's 2 years old, and he's only wearing a diaper. Now they are searching with bloodhounds in the area, going door to door. I want to take you now to a live picture. This will show you the car that he was originally in, where his mother's boyfriend left him in this car. It was found not even a mile away from the apartment complex. It is a 1995 orange Honda Civic. Now, JSO found that car here off of Cespedes Avenue not long after the original call came in, but the boy was not inside the car when they found it. So now they are trying to figure out who stole the car and where this child is.
This car belongs to the boyfriend of this child's mother. The baby was inside the child. The boyfriend says he went inside, left the child inside this car, and the car was stolen, found about a mile away. Again, this happened on the south side, but the child was missing, and that's why there is an all-out search right now. And as you can see, investigators combing that car, looking for any information that could lead them to the person who may have taken this child. We will have a live report coming up in just a matter of minutes. New information right now. An Amber Alert has just been issued for this little boy. He's 22-month-old Lonzie Barton, last seen at around 2 o'clock this morning on the south side, inside a car that was stolen. That car found a mile away, and this little boy was not inside. Now an Amber Alert has been issued for him. Last seen in a diaper. You can see him there. He only weighs about 20 pounds. Police now combing the car. That car, as I mentioned, has been found. We are expecting another briefing from police coming up in about 20 minutes. We will bring that to you live.
We spoke with a neighbor in the area of where that car was found, and take a listen to what they had to say.
Well, yesterday afternoon, just before it started raining, or probably just about the time it started raining before it started getting good and dark, that car was out in front of my house. And we didn't really think anything about it because we thought it might have been one of the neighbors. Then the police showed up this morning saying that they needed to look at my home video to see if my video had picked anything up. And we looked at all the video that was, on my cameras and stuff, and they didn't see anything from there.
At this point in time now, we have issued an Amber Alert for the child. The child is 1.5 years old. He turns 2 in October. His name is Lonzie Barton. The media has been provided with a copy of him with this picture. He is blonde-haired, blue-eyed, about 20 pounds, able to walk, able to talk. There's no health issues with this child.
Two crime scenes on the south side where police are trying to find this 20-month-old child. On the right is the car being towed. That was the car that little boy was last seen in an apartment complex on Old Kings Road. It was stolen about 4 blocks away, and when they found that vehicle, that little boy was not inside.
Let's bring in now our News for Jax crime and safety analyst, Gil Smith, who's just arrived on the scene. Gil, what do you make of all this?
Yeah, it's a very frightening situation. And like you said, there's so many different areas that it could go in. Did the child get out? Did the person take the child with them? Is the child in one of the residents here on the scene? That's the main thing they're going to be looking at here. I'm sure they have already, is to check all the houses here in the area.
We actually just moved a little bit closer to give you a better view of the apartment complex on the south side where this all began this morning. This is the Ravenwood apartment complex behind me. And if you take a look straight behind me, we've got a JSO officer there. Actually, he's pulling out right now, but they have been blocking that driveway throughout the morning. Now, if we pan over to the left, you can see 2 more sheriff's officers. And then past the sign, even further over, we've got another car. So there have been at least 3 to 5 JSO vehicles at the front of this complex throughout the morning, blocking it off. They've also got several investigators inside, and I don't know if we're able to show it right now, but we have a helicopter that is circling the area. This has been up for the past 5 minutes or so, circling the area, trying to help locate 21-month-old Lonzie Barton.
Kind of set the scene for us, if you will, in terms of what's going on there with investigators.
Right, the car was left here. Just behind me is where it was left by the suspect. And of course, the child was not in it. And this area was just opened up. It was taped off because it was a crime scene. The car was processed, and now the car is gone, and they just opened up the scene. There, about 5 minutes ago, I just heard the air unit overhead. So now they're up searching the area also.
This is just somebody who lives in the area near where the car was found, and you can see all those police officers. At one point, you'll see they look under this car. They looked in the backyard, trying to find this little boy because they just simply don't have any idea where he is.
I want to step out of the way and show you what's happening right now. We're in the Separate East Avenue area. We can see just how many investigators are here on the scene. This is near the Bay Meadows and Old Kings Road area. Investigators actually, a lot of them just left this area just moments ago, and we kind of thought that they were actually taking off to go somewhere, but it was actually a shift change, so some new investigators just got to the scene. We can see police officers here. They just briefed each other on what's going on to get the very latest in this search.
But we first started airing this story during our first newscast of the day. It was at 4:30 a.m. We got the alert from JSO at 4 a.m. this morning as a reported auto theft with a possible child abduction. It happened, though, hours before we know, 2:22 a.m., when the boyfriend called police saying the vehicle had been stolen and the child was missing. Shortly after, less than 10 minutes later, JSO found that car less than a mile away. Then at 4:45, we were briefed by the public information officer who first told us this child was 2 years old, and at that time they said his name was Aaron Ebron. Then at 5:10, JSO tweeted a new picture. It was a better photo, still calling him Aaron. 5:18, 8 minutes later, that is when we got that tweet. Very important here, a different name, Lonzie Barton, same picture. 5:32 a.m., police released the location of the car where they found it, Cespedes Avenue, less than a mile away from that apartment. And that, we know, was the second place that they were searching. Those two places police were flooding. 6:17 a.m., JSO tweets out the case. This is when it became an Amber Alert. The first one here in Florida this year. They told us there were a number of criteria that had to be met before they made that call. 8:27 a.m., they also tweeted that the child was not restrained in the car seat at the time of the theft, which was a key piece of information because the child could have gotten out of the vehicle if he wasn't restrained. 8:53, JSO tweeted a photo of the vehicle, then asking if anyone had seen that very distinct orange Honda Civic with a black hood since 8 p.m. on Thursday night.
This is the picture police want everyone in our area to see. An active Amber Alert now going into its 15th hour for 21-month-old Lonzie Barton. The child has been missing since early this morning after what began as a reported carjacking.
I have to assume the worst, unfortunately. The worst case scenario for me is that somebody abducted this child.
Local, state, and federal investigators searching 3 scenes looking for any signs of the toddler and going door to door to get the word out to neighbors who say they want to help.
Today's been a day of methodical searches. We have gridded off the area where not only the apartment complex was, where the car was taken, but the 4 block from there where the vehicle was recovered. We have gridded that out, and we have 40 to 60 detectives working with our state FDLE partners and federal partners with the FBI, working through a methodical search of this area.
Search your backyards, look in your pools, look in your sheds, do everything you can to find this young man. He wants the picture to continue to be out there on the news, on social media, everything people can do to keep an eye out, because as he said, this boy's got to be somewhere. He had to have gone somewhere. They are still treating this as an abduction. They are still treating this as if the boy is alive.
The child was reported missing early this morning by this man, his mother's boyfriend, William Ebron. This is his mug shot from this past May when he was arrested on a drug charge in Baker County. There are 3 locations that police are checking out: the apartment complex where the family lives, a laundromat the boyfriend went to sometime yesterday, hours before he reported the child missing. We have crews all over town talking with police and some members of the child's family about the search for Lonzie Barton. Channel 4's Ashley Mitchum has been investigating all day, looking through court documents, and she's joining us live from the newsroom to tell us what she's discovered. Ashley.
A lot of information that I found here with this investigation. I went to Baker County to gather as much info as I could. Jacksonville Sheriff's Office records indicate that He was arrested back in 2007 for trespassing and writing bad checks. In 2008, driving with a suspended license. 2009, possession of 20 grams or less of cannabis. 2010, armed robbery with a firearm or deadly weapon, as well as grand theft, and arrested in 2011 for grand theft as well, and fraudulent use of identification. And then in 2012, violation of probation and domestic battery causing minor injury with a weapon.
Here's information police have just told us. They have received 20 to 25 tips today. They are following up on all of them. Police will continue to search for Lonzie until nightfall, and a detective will be present overnight. It's been a day of methodical searches. Lonzie's mother and her boyfriend are cooperating. Police say they are downtown speaking with them right now, but police also say that has been like pulling teeth. We've also learned the boyfriend, 32-year-old William Ebron, has had run-ins with police. Some of those run-ins, police say, are troubling. We know he was arrested on drug charges in Baker County back in May, and a woman filed a restraining order against him, accusing him of stalking, harassment, and threats. We are going through that injunction right now. We'll have much more for you on that at 6 o'clock.
Earlier today, Chief Hackney told us that they were waiting to interview Lonzie's 5-year-old sister. She hadn't eaten or slept at all last night. What is the process now of interviewing this girl, possibly the last person to see this young boy?
Well, she would be interviewed by the child protection team, and they're experienced with talking with young children in different types of crimes. So they would not immediately just start talking about the crime or what happened. They will want to build a rapport with the child, make the child feel comfortable in a comfortable, soft environment, maybe using toys or different types of things like that to feel comfortable with the child, then slowly getting to the questioning as to what happened last night.
We had a chance to speak with the daytime manager here at Wacko's, who wouldn't go on camera, but he did say things have been pretty quiet here at the club since Lonzie went missing this morning. Now, he did confirm to us that Lonzie's mother, Lana, was working overnight here until her shift ended at 2:30. That is, of course, around the time when that little boy was first reported missing.
Just spoke with the chief of investigations for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Tom Hackney says that he is still treating this as an abduction. They're not going to leave any stones unturned. And right now, they still believe that the boy is alive, but really, every minute that they don't find him, the risk of losing him is even worse.
With a helicopter overhead, dozens of police officers looked for toddler Lonzie Barton. They searched backyards and sheds. They used bloodhounds to try to pick up his scent or any clues about where he may be.
We do understand that the mother and her boyfriend were here at police headquarters within the last hour being interviewed by detectives. Right now, authorities are really focusing in on the mother's boyfriend, since he was the last person to say that he saw that young child, and really they want to know exactly what he was doing last night.
Right behind me is the command post. You can see there are dozens of police vehicles. We saw 6 canine units turn in just before we went on the air just now. So still lots of police activity. They will be here for as long as humanly possible. They say there's going to be as many as 60 officers searching again tomorrow if it does come to that.
And we are continuing to follow the Amber Alert for 21-month-old Lonzie Barton. We'll have live reports throughout the news as news warrants and full coverage once again tonight on the 10 o'clock news.